Hey, how's it going? I'm actually not really sure what the heck I'm gonna do except for one thing. After this, the asking you to look at my signs. So here's I'm having some confusion. Here's where the confusion lies. I have something that I want to talk about. I have something that I wrote. I pulled two different pulls, like from two different decks, and the cards want to talk about other stuff than I want to talk about. So the talking about I'm going to talk about. I have been like not happy at all with like the current administration and Musk. I mean, they were like totally wrecking things for everyone, and I felt some anxiety about losing like my Social Security. I don't now as much, but it's still a concern. Not just for me though, and that's kind of what I'm gonna talk about, is that it's in the States. He's like created so much anxiety, and they the two I mentioned lie a bunch, and then there's also like a lot of the Republican Party. They just are not telling the truth about stuff. And you can see what I'm talking about, like if you see coverage of a Republican town hall, where you can see that finally, rightfully so, the attendees are mad. They're angry, they're upset, they're betrayed because they're told one thing and then something completely else is happening. Except, here's the thing though, you expect, or I do, I can really only speak for myself and other people that have, said this out loud, but the dude's a liar. Trump, he does not tell the truth. I'm not in a court of law. Like whatever happens, I guess, because he and the other guy will come after you if you say something that they feel is against them. It just doesn't even matter if it really is, which is why I'm like, fine, I'm just saying it, because I will lose my mind if I can't say stuff. But there's a lot of fear too. There's a lot of what is going to happen to me and my family, or like whatever it is I care about, my business. That's a whole nother layer of upset right there. Like just I think people might be near breakdown, or like having like way too much intense emotion, like too angry, too afraid, too stressed, and it's like not good for anybody, not good for your mind, not good for the people around you if you don't process things well. It's already a time that not a whole lot of people are paying attention to, where things are happening that are sort of, you can't just like pick it up and go, here's thing, it is doing whatever. It is, more ethereal than that, less with form. What is that? I know I spilled something earlier, but now I can't remember what it was, but I just found some on my leg. I was cooking. It might be garlic oil. But that's nice. That's always nice to put your hand in something wet. Anyway. It may also be water. Oh, you know what? It is probably water, because I was... Anyway. So... What was I saying? Oh, yes. The anxiety. And also I feel like on a lot of levels, what is happening with like the United States, at least, if you're watching the media, they're not telling you like the much of the truth either, really. But think about the media is they're only telling parts of the story which are pertinent to the situation, but then the way they tell the story, I'm thinking particularly of MSNBC, because they've gone through a lot of changes there, and well, I stopped watching a couple of years ago now, except for every once in a while I'll watch a clip on YouTube, because they can't say what's actually happening, because whoever's the up top, whoever's the boss, is controlling the news. Like like Trump with his marker during that hurricane, or was it tornado, if you remember. He tried to like extend it into areas where he was like mad at people, which that's not, I know that's not the kind of leader I want, and everybody says, oh, in charge of the button, blah, 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 the nuclear button. Well, that's a concern too, but it's kind of like, it's like worrying about like what time of day you're gonna die. It's gonna happen, or like if the thing's already been let off, the bomb, or the chance is always there, you really can never relax. But what could you do anyway? So why worry about it? Like, if you survive it and it's really hard and it's terrible, what exactly do you think you could do to change it at any point, really? Like, just stuff that's not worth worrying about. I feel like, So, but we do worry, and we do kind of just get stuck worrying about stuff because, well, I can think of one instance where that would be true. You can't figure out a way out. You can't figure out what to do to prevent what might feel like impending doom. Like, if you were a recently abruptly terminated federal employee and you had a mortgage and children going to private school and a wife with cancer, or yourself, parent, property, car, so many expenses, and then to just have it like, whoop, it's gone. We decided we're not going to do that here in the Gulf of United States of Russia, or whatever is going on. I don't know. Sorry, didn't mean to yell. A little bit of the feelings coming out. So I had this idea, because I feel like, on top of the long time feeling that, or question that I had of myself, if you were alive and an adult or a adolescent in the civil rights era during the 1960s, what would you have done? Well, I'll tell you, for me personally, if I was me, older me, like if I was me now, then not much. There wouldn't have been a whole heck of a lot I could have done. Like, I probably would not have had a lot of resources. I probably would not have such high status in society. I would not really have many options except to get out, but even that might be extremely difficult. And at that time, families were different than they are now. Like, they stuck together and you stood by each other, and that is not how it is. Well, times change. That's all I'm saying. So, there's so many areas right now that are literally like, if under attack. I don't feel like there's any other way to put it, and it's precise. It's surgical. It's like someone knows exactly what institutions and organizations to take out, and important government agencies and groups that pretty much all of the pressure points are like under attack, like they're being removed. So if you're thinking of the whole structure as a Jenga, the America structure, just if the pieces being pulled out are not random, they're meant to cause destruction, because they're not America plans for America first. All of that is like a bunch of crap from somewhere else. It's not America stuff. And the people that want to change it, well, you don't want to be American? Well, sure, you're wealthy and you have 8 passports. Sure, why would you have allegiance to here in United States? And so, I don't know. I guess I can dream up a lot of stuff. But on social media, people are expressing distress. They're putting out memes. They're saying things. And so, here I am thinking, well, come on, guys, let's get together and fight back. Resist, right? But see, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be all screaming and yelling and calling people's names and stuff. It takes all kinds. So there's all kinds of people being affected all kinds of ways, and they can respond and or react in a lot of different ways. And sometimes, I think now people are like slow to catch on to the fact that if we don't start acting now, later may be too late or extremely hard to reverse things. And so my thought is, since I can do very little, although if certain things happen, I could, with everybody else, it sounds like they will find a way to hurt you. Like you can't say stuff anymore, even though, wait a minute, we still have this Constitution. Well, they're trying to get rid of that. They're just trying to have this whole other reality over the pre-existing one, and not everybody's down with that, so it's not exactly working. And then even some of the people that thought they were down with it, now that they see a little more clearly what's actually happening with the people that they decided to get behind, they're like, wait a minute. And those are the kind of the people that you want to count on. And, well, I want to count on them because they held them up. They supported that whole right-wing structure, and they're not to be fooled with when they get mad. They are like hornets, like murder hornets. They will dox you. They have guns. They will, like, come to your house and come around. Like, I mean, this is not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I mean, these are the same people who would have set a cross on fire on your lawn if they didn't like you, or hang you by your neck. Although now, I'm happy to say, other people are the focus of that ire. So, things have changed. Things change. But I had this great idea, and I don't know what I was thinking, because I recently was asked to join the Hells Angels. I forget what they call the women, but I was like, I'm not much of a joiner. And I'm not, But that particular group, I imagine they've changed somewhat, but I also am pretty sure a lot of the same stuff they've always done still goes on. So I'm not sure I want to be, I don't know, like, if the position of the women in the organization has changed a whole lot. I don't know. I didn't investigate it. I just declined and said thank you. But I also said I'm not much of a joiner, and it's true. I would like to be. I think it's more like people don't want to join me. It's more the case. And if you're into this metaphysical stuff, you'll see a lot of posts about people spending a whole lot of their time just alone, or, just like without family, and, unmarried, and just don't date much, and just, yeah, it's making me sad, because I've lived that way for so long, and it just, like, it grinds on you if you care about, having a relationship. If you don't mind that existence, it's fine. And for the most part, I don't mind it. I have lived with people, like, had roommates, plural, and I don't care for it. I was an only child, and I grew up knowing that if I put something someplace, it was going to be there when I came back. And then when you live with other people, you see that they find all kinds of reasons to just ignore that. Like, I know I'm getting sidetracked, but here's my favorite. Oh, you're an only child, so you don't have to share. Pretty much. Like it was a crime or something. But it's like, they'd say that when you'd be like with them in their element, and it's like you'd have a thing, and then they'd be all, you're not sharing that. It's like, well, don't you have one too? And then like, oh, you're selfish. I mean, I just want to understand, if you have some, why do you need what I have too? I feel like it was more of a mind trip than anything, and I don't really care for that. So, you know, I guess it goes both ways. I don't want to join. They don't want to join with me. However, I decided, seeing what looked like people saying they were upset online, because from like the first couple of weeks, people were already like, it's 2 days and it feels like a year. And on Blue Sky, there's definitely an element, well, on every platform really, but Blue Sky is where I spend the most time. And I used to have a Twitter account, but got rid of that since Elon's owned it. I was there for a while, and then I decided I had enough, and basically I was just looking for someplace better to go, which was Blue Sky. And it's gotten a lot more populated, so it's changing, and I'm not liking it as much. But it's like seeing the band that's so cool, and then when everybody gets into them, it turns them into, they get famous and they're not the same anymore. And I don't want to be that person that's all, I knew him first, I saw him first or whatever. But I'm just saying that before all of the people came from other places like Twitter, which, I mean, that was me too, but on Twitter, I wasn't in like political areas. I wasn't, all of the horrible stuff that people always complained about it, that was not my feed, because I didn't engage with that. I just did pretty much what I do now, except now it has the added more unpleasant element. My feed does on Blue Sky is that I'm responding to the situation, and also like, I like the memes, don't get me wrong, I will laugh at them and share them and so forth, but I don't really think they do much of anything. So, but on the other hand, they do, because as long as that's there, I know Musk has an account on Blue Sky. I don't know about Trump, but I don't see him anymore. But anyway, I know he's on there. I know his brother's on there. A lot of people are on there, I think, it's surprising me. So the point is that there's stuff that they can see on there that is not complimentary to them. A lot. Like, I'm sure a ton. I blocked, and I still do a lot of like just over the top political stuff. Like, if you're just like Democrat crazy with all the symbology, that like kind of freaks me out. So like, I will block you. But at the same time, there are voices that I want to see and hear from, that I feel like such a snob saying this, but I feel like it's more about getting across what they're doing than characterizing them personally for what they're doing. That makes a big difference to me, because the second one, the getting personal, that gets in the way of like anybody from wherever they're coming from having a decent thing to say in a decent climate. Like, it's serious. You can't be screwing it up with that. So I still haven't even gotten to what I'm trying to say. I decided to ask people to join me in a suit. I wanted to gather people that are also feeling anxious, who like, I actually feel like not bad, but the scale of this has got to be working on people. Like with the tariffs, with the tariffs, it goes even beyond the borders, because now we're just messing with people other places, and that causes more anxiety toward us. And some people are like me and just like mortified and like, oh, I'm so sorry, and still actually in contact with a lot of other countries. Thank goodness. I don't want this garbage to come between us. And I know I didn't vote for the guy, but at a point like it is now, that stops mattering. So if people still want to be my friend overseas, I'm like happy about it, and here as well. But we're just not, as a country, because of the leadership, I feel like making a great impression, and we're making impressions I don't want to be a part of that. Again, I do not want to live in a pariah state. So, in defense, what little I can do is I wanted to collect people who also feel psychologically abused. Like, basically what I want to do is bring a case with a lot of other people, like a civil case against the government and all these people out there shooting off their mouths about destroying my country. I'm sick of their crap. I'm sick of them trying to make me feel some kind of way. Like, I don't feel like that. Like, look, you don't have the cards, bro. You don't have all of the cards. It's not going to go smooth. It's not going to go, okay? There's a lot of people that, like, are behind this and are excited about it, but I don't think they're seeing the real picture. And the numbers are going to fall off, because the more that these guys, it even just takes saying stuff for them to tank their precious stock market, which causes more stress and anxiety of a different kind. So the brain behind all of this attack studied the United States, and it's gotten to know us very well, because it's been a long time that they've been studying, and so they know our system. They know how to. They've been in it. They've worked inside of it and have reported back to the boss. And so, I mean, obviously it's very comprehensive and it's pretty successful, except for it's one-sided, and it's, like I said, not everybody is behind this, so that's good. But anyway, I put my little request out there, and I did say, like, I'm looking for legal representation pro bono, and over the weekend I just kind of left it alone, and I had called a couple of lawyers, and I was waiting for callbacks. I guess I still am. I don't know. I mean, it's only been like 3 days, business days, so I don't know how long it would take. I didn't call like a whole bunch in a row, because I don't want a whole bunch calling me at once. But now I'm starting to wonder if any are going to call. So after the weekend, I go back, and on both of my sides, and I tried to make it clear, like, I ain't asking for money. As of now, all I'm asking for is interest. Like, are you feeling bad about this? Are you feeling bad about, like, your Social Security? Are you feeling bad about your lost job? Are you feeling bad about the farm? I'm like, what? There's so many bad things to choose from. I just can't believe people are not feeling things, and you know who the cause is. Who are the people making this happen to make you feel bad, to make all this stuff happen that you don't want? So I thought, it's not about me, so then people will be like, yeah, that actually, I want to get behind that. And the reason why it matters to have other people is because that is more of what is the word? It was just right there. It's going to be more attractive for some lawyer, where it's kind of a hostile place right now. But like, if you're a lawyer and you're worried about that, and you want to still work here and be a lawyer and not be in jail for it, or for somebody you represented that they don't like because it affects them somehow. I'm talking about the government again, not liking things. Too bad. But, we don't want to live in that country where we're not allowed to defend ourselves. Like, that's ridiculous. You can't just come in and be like, we're going to change it now. I'm like, nope. You did no groundwork except with your people. The rest of us are not convinced. So, that was loud. Sorry. Come back at the end of the weekend and crickets, like nobody. And I thought, in fact, when I wrote the first one on the first platform, I said, I know nobody's going to pay any attention to this. And I didn't mean it like in the way that you'll see a post from people and they'll have some animal and they'll be all, today's my birthday, and I bet nobody clicks on it. It's like, God, I hate that. I like the animal picture, but I want to strangle the person who posted it. I generally just ignore those because don't play them stupid games with me. If you want to post, put the thing up there and say it's my birthday, and then people will be all, oh, or say nothing and people will be all, oh. But that other part. So anyway, so yeah, I knew nobody probably was going to respond. It doesn't even look like I got views, which I had a feeling that would be the case because that's why I said that. And then in the next post, I didn't say that. I said it slightly different, like posted the whole thing slightly differently. And then I made sure to say that I'm not out to get anybody's money. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for likes. If you feel like stressed out and, you maybe want to join a suit against those guys to feel like you're doing something, to be taking part in the resistance. I mean, if someone does look at the first site, what I did say today, after saying, hey, I see nobody even responded, that's okay, maybe it's too soon, is what I said. Or maybe, people still think I'm asking for money or think I'm asking for money, and I'm not doing that. And that's what I wrote. But I also said, don't you, you can meme at this stuff and whatnot if you want, but don't you want to feel, empowered? Don't you want to be doing something? So here's something you can do, but all you gotta do is join. Click like and join, and then, I'm doing the looking for the legal representation, and I'm gathering the people. All I'm asking for is for you to, stick out your finger and hit the like, but nobody did. So, kind of expected that too. Because like I said, maybe it's too soon. Maybe people are not upset enough. But also, I don't know how long you want to be waiting before you, get in and get involved. Because even if it doesn't go anywhere near a courtroom, if there's a lawyer that gets attached and enough people join, it'll do what I initially want it to do, which is be another thing against them, because they hate it. They cannot stand it if you don't like them. I feel like that's the most effective tool, second only to law when it's working, against these people. Because let's face it, they have no qualms at all about doing all kinds of stuff to us. They wanted to, they did remove regulations for a lot of stuff, and already people are sick, died, stuff won't grow, water you can't drink. I mean, come on, it's already... The man complained about other countries being asshole countries, and he just couldn't wait to turn this into the assholiest one. Trump is who I'm talking about. So, I have also stated my case here, please join me in being a thorn in their side, a burr under their saddle. Seriously, we may not even have to get an attorney if I get enough people going, I'm with you, I want to do it. Because from every direction must come an attack, must come something other than passively just being all, oh my God, now's not the time. Like, and listen, this is me. You don't know me very well, but this is not me. Like, I've never been the one to be all charged. Like, I'm not the one that's gonna go running into a fire. I'm not a first responder. But this I can do, along with my campaign of needling, because here's the thing about social media. They can leave my stuff the hell alone. I have some people who I know for a while, a couple of them only from online, but and they do what I do. I don't know if they're doing it because I have been doing it the whole time, but if I just put a like, I'm just always going to put also a share or a retweet or what repost or whatever you call it, because why the hell not? Who's it going to hurt? It's going to make that person happy. More people will see. I mean, it's not the point. And so, but I post a lot of stuff, my own content, the stuff that I write, or these videos on other platforms than this. I got like the one friend on the one platform, or two on one and one on the other, that I'll get a like on my personal content, but other stuff gets, lots of, like, my stuff, crickets. But, and then I love this. It's my favorite. But the other thing that I also love is that when you don't like or do anything to anybody, like, if I don't like other people's stuff, there can be days, like, I could just let it go for days and I won't get, like, no action, nothing happening. And I post a lot. I don't care, whatever. I post a lot. I have the time. It's my circumstances. Shut up, you don't live my life. I try to make it not garbage, at least. So, yeah, that's what I feel like I can do. Because, like I said, I'm not running into a fire. I don't even have a way to go. I'm not going to go to a protest. I don't know. I don't want to be a cripple in a chair. I'm actually less crippled than a lot of people in the chairs. But I'm not going to go out that way. Like, you can get trampled and thrown around. No, thank you. I'm just going to keep using my words. So, I guess I'll read my thing. It's really not... Whoa, forgot that was on there. It's neither here nor there, I guess, about what I was talking about. It was just some things that came to mind after I watched Sterling's video yesterday, which I'm not going to remember to link it. I don't even want to have to remember, because if you want to see Sterling, psychic medium, you can go to his YouTube channel called Sterling Psychic Medium. He's very accurate. Listen, or don't, Everybody can do whatever the hell they want. So, now let me force you to listen to me read something at you. Where is it? Nope. It's on the page. Where is it? Okay, yeah, it is. I am looking. Oh, there. No? Oh. Duh. Okay. Mediumship and the clairs, as in clairaudient, which is psychic hearing. Clairvoyant is psychic seeing, like you can see apparitions, see the dead. So whatever other psychic talent you might have is a clair. And so, okay. Mediumship and the clairs. Recovery of the memories that you are already clearing. We don't realize that these totally normal things, like hearing sounds, like many conversations, but not why, is something. I thought it was coming from the apartments all around me and the homes beyond them. I don't know how many, but when I and the world especially are quiet is when I hear all of these overlapping voices. Every so often, a word or phrase would be louder, more insistent than the rest. Come to find out from Sterling Psychic Medium that these are relatives and ascended masters and the angelic realm, or from the angelic realm. These are relatives, talking to us. I stumble onto things that way. What feels like accidental knowing. Okay, so here's an example of accidental knowing. I'm no chemist, biologist, or engineer, but over a decade ago, during an E. coli outbreak in bagged spinach, the idea for a sensor probe that could be poked right into the soil and water around plants in the field to measure for outbreaks before the infected plants could go out to consumers. I shared the idea with someone everyone agrees is smarter than us, is well educated in the academic institution sense, with wide interests outside their technological expertise as hobbies. This person, almost before I finished speaking, shot my idea down. It died off. They ticked off points why, and I kind of left it there. Fast forward to a week ago, sharing this idea with the smart person over a decade ago. Fast forward to a week ago, and me finding an ad for the very device I described. It was advertised as new tech in the ad, with a photo depicting what had come to me. What I had come to me. I almost said dreamt up as it was an idea. I almost said dreamt up as if it was an idea. Sorry, I have to read that again because I'm not saying it right. I almost said dreamt up. So, okay, I see what I'm saying. It was the new tech with a photo depicting what I had come to me. So, what I had seen that I didn't know how to make, like this whole thing, yeah, it was there. So I almost said I dreamt it up, but it as if it was an idea inserted complete. Well, it was. That's what I was just trying to say. Inserted complete as a concept and an article that does stuff I have no expertise in. That was unusual, at least for me. Later, I learned the way we make our way is the point. Okay, whoa. Oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. Sorry. Well, yeah, anyway. The idea for this thing, came to me. So, I had, the idea, I knew what this was. And then the thing, it looked somewhat different from the ad, but generally it was the same. It was like an electronics pack with a readout window and a probe, which it could have been more than one in my imagining, but in this one it just seemed to have one large central one. It could have had more stuff inside of it. I don't know. In the intervening years, that the process of spiritual awakening can... I learned in the intervening years that the process of spiritual awakening can inspire us to all kinds of creativity, even beyond what we think we know. Kind of wish I'd been more persistent, because the probe I saw, with its slick, glossy ad, "Can't be cheap." Darn, another missed opportunity. So that, what I wrote, it wasn't like very clear. The reason why I went there was, first it was like the voices, which when I first started was in my Kundalini awakening, like I was noticing all kinds of stuff, but the voices had kind of been there, but I don't know, I didn't even think of nothing of it. I guess I was just all whatever. Like I sure didn't think it was the angelic realm. I later thought, if anything, I'm just like picking up like a radio crap from all around me. So that just kind of got me thinking about the other stuff. It like led me to think of the probe deal, the E. coli probe. But we all, hold on, what am I doing there? Okay. The I guess the point of it was like more still, like this has been going on for a while. Like I think the Kundalini part, like the whole, that's a whole thing to itself. You can look that up if you're interested, but it tapers off, I think. And there's still, I think because of the time right now too, just an ongoing barrage of information and light codes. And if you meditate and you're working on your mediumship, if that's what you care about, I mean, I think there's other reasons to, there's a lot of avenues to pursue, I think, in the metaphysical awakening world, you know, of you personally, like not like going online and looking at what other people are doing, or looking up services or something. Like you got like all this stuff going on like yourself when you're waking up, and you have to kind of interact with that stuff if you're aware of what's happening to you, and that's where you want to go. But it also just happens to you anyway, and you kind of like, I think it's subjective, you know. I think each person is different. But if you're going in with no information, I think you maybe are just either wired to kind of forge your own awakening path and come upon information that's, I guess, pertinent and maybe not the same, but it ends up getting you to the same location that you know, are going to be headed to anyway in your awakening. Like, again, it takes as many kinds of experiences as there are people, right? So, there's no, like, real point to what I was saying. Should I go ahead and do some cards? I don't know. I got, like, two. I'm going to go long if I do it. I kind of want to do it, though. So, I don't know, did I? Okay, so I did get out what I was saying about the being online, and like it's kind of a thing where like if you're not gonna have like much going on. Not in all cases, okay, but if you are like on there for validation. If you want a friend, get a dog, because social media it's not going to be your friend. It's going to be your fair weather friend. So, like, if you hand out a bunch of likes, you will probably get some back. You will get someone liking you, liking their thing. They will like you, liking their like. Okay, I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm on there too with stuff, you know, and it's not like I'm all, don't like and retweet my stuff. That's not how I feel. I do also want the attention. So, on that note, from the Gemstone Whispers deck, we have this card that didn't look like, I couldn't read it at all. Let me try that again. There, that's better. So, it is The Great Star of Africa, and the subtitle is Envy, and the card reads, Envy is the religion of the mediocre. It comforts them, it smooths their worries, and finally it rots their souls. Finally it rots their souls, allowing them to justify their meanness and their greed until they believe these to be virtues. Whoa. I'm just gonna let that sit there in the air and aerate. Let you think on that. I mean, I really can't think of... I can think of a lot to add, but I don't want to go crazy with the time. So, here's the next card. Black Pearl. And the subtitle is Gluttony. He who has not consented... Sorry. He who has... One more time. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Is that the same as saying you have everything that there is to have and you still want everything else, including what others have? That feels topical. So, here we go. The next card is Chaldoni. And the subtitle is Create. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. So I have said this a lot lately. Now is the time when things are kind of like unstable and kind of breaking, and it's a good time to just like seize the day. Whatever venture you have been afraid to just jump out there and start trying to do it now. I mean, what have you got to lose? If you feel like everything's falling apart and you're losing everything, what have you got to lose, right? Okay, so here's the next card. Chrysoprase? Oh, sorry. Chrysoprase. Holy crap. You want to look at that? Chrysoprase. So the subtitle, let's look at this stone. Oh wow, it's like a green version of this thing. Interesting. So the subtitle is Perspective. The difference between hope and despair is a different way of telling stories from the same facts. That tracks with what I was just saying about going for it, even though it looks like things are falling apart. Eventually, things are going to come back together, and, I mean, seize the day, seize the opportunity, jump into the breach, because people might be thinking about other things than, like, grabbing opportunities that would leave more for you. Here's the next card, Koh-i-Noor Diamond, and the subtitle is Mistake. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Well, try and try again. I forget the whole... That's not all of the thing. Oh, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's a pretty basicism I have no argument with. Here is the final card, and it is Malachite, this lovely stone that I was ranting and raving about the other day. And the subtitle is Judgment. Reserving judgment is a matter of infinite hope. So, you know, it's kind of like a sequence here, like the envy part, you know. I don't know, like if you I'm fully just thinking of like the really wealthy people with this whole sequence because envy oddly seems to be something that they really have a problem with, and for like the weirdest things, it's like the thing with black people. It's like they not the rich people, but just like there's a subset of society that just can't stand black people, you know, just don't like the way they look, the way they sound. They're the problem for with everything, which I don't know how that could be. They have those blaming people have a really inflated perception, I think, of us as a monolith, but okay. But at the same time, they feel like we get some kind of attention, and this is unspoken. It's just something that I've kind of detected from the way people act in situations like Black Lives Matter. They're so mad, like, well, we gotta have White Lives Matter. It's like, what? You can't have stuff. I gotta have it too. That's what I feel like that is. And so this one, Gluttony with the Black Pearl, another gemstone, but all of these are. These are not as treasured as a diamond, but, you know, they're not cheap. So Gluttony is the subtitle, and this, it's, you know, he who's not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Like, I already made a comment on that. The having is all the having is all they want to have. They don't care whose it is, they just gotta have it. Still talking about the rich people, don't want to get too vague with the theys, but so life isn't about finding yourself and creating yourself. I feel like it's like we always have the opportunity to create the way our life is gonna go. You know, I mean, put it this way, if you are a child and you're like, I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old, and you want something, and you have had maybe too much sugar, and you've had like a day where you've had like everything a little kid, a little spoiled brat could want. Thank you for that. A little insertion there. You know, we're dealing with descriptors here, so you know that child is like, if you get the child home and you're the parent and you're like, okay, I did all the stuff, it is time for you to go to sleep, eat some food and go to sleep. Like, if it were me, I would be tired, I would be fatigued with, you know, just because your child likes the thing doesn't mean you love it. So you may have had a long day, and then you know, want to get home and unwind and relax, and like bring the day can come to an end now. Like, the fun can be over, but the child may be unwilling. Like, well, I still want to like be on the high energy end of things, and mom is like, you better high energy yourself into the bath. So the energy is not matching. But you have to like roll with the, you know, changes kind of. So well, you know, you have this situation and you can go certain ways with it, you know. And I've already described the playing field. Like, you're both tired, so, but what you know, I just feel like the best exit strategy here is to do something to calm you both down at the same time, so then you can sort of recalibrate. And that is an example of, you know, like, controlling a situation, but in a healthy way, you know, like, you're not really taking anything from anyone else. Well, that went somewhere I was not expecting it to go. Yeah, the difference between hope and despair is a different way of telling stories from the same facts. Well, that's true. That's like that elephant thing where the blind people are each touching a different part, and they all think it's everything but an elephant. Like they have no idea that they're even feeling on the same thing. Sorry, but I was getting a little sidetracked. But yeah, like I said, there's as many experiences as there are people, and so that implies that from each experience, each different person is going to have a different perspective, and it's like something that we should all remember, that it's like a tool that we have when we lose sight of things. Like we have it's like you can bring yourself back to earth when you can sort of look around and like honestly reflect on a situation. Or I don't know, like maybe it takes the reflection before you get to the honest part, but either way, both are part of the recipe. Those are both steps. So the mistake card. This I think is a crown, and or is it a perfume bottle? I don't know, but it's fancy as heck, and I feel like we got two people that think they're just like royalty and everybody should bow to them, and regardless of what is said to everyone else that they're expecting so much from, they also expect you to just be all, I worship you so much, I love you so much, you're the smartest, brightest person ever. I cannot help you with that. Because one of them recently said, one of them will never admit to making a mistake, only by accident, which they have done, like talking about, I didn't sign the thing that was a presidential order that went out and you're the president. He was not clever enough to be all, I was talking about I didn't sign it in 17 whatever. That ain't what happened. He was confused. He was like, the what? I didn't die. The what? Confused old man is what I saw. So then the other one, not as old, but openly said, look, I'm just going to start taking over and doing stuff that was working as a complete other way and do everything to hobble stuff from going forward. And it's like, all these, and he said he considered, yeah, I'm gonna probably make mistakes. And he's like made more mistakes than anything. And it's not like we didn't have a record of his mistake making capabilities. Hello. Exploding rockets and exploding cars. And yeah. I think they made mistakes that they didn't realize were mistakes that are about to bite them in the butt. Both of them. Oh, I can accept that. And so, with all of that in mind, and kind of the sort of injury that can be incurred from this stuff, like the anxiety and stuff that I was talking about, I really feel like all of us are better off than the two of them, or like all of them that are up there in the government screaming and yelling at everybody else and telling you how terrible you are and how you don't exist and taking away your history and telling you that you're the bad person. I do not concur. But on the other hand, we all signed up for this, so I almost feel like that's a little bit further than people can go. So I think I'm going to start switching my metaphor to just the movie thing, because I feel like that's more accessible to people, or even a video game concept I think would work better with people, than like the birth contract all the time, because then that requires you to, I don't know, it feels like you have to take too many steps. And not just other people, I'm saying like me too, and I'm thinking in those terms all the time, but to relate about it to someone else, I feel like there's an easier way, and a movie does that for me. I think that gets us there. And so what do you do in a movie? You act, and there's a script, but sometimes there can be some improvisation that will go in, and sometimes stuff gets edited out. It's a very kind of a fluid medium, and unreal and unbelievable things can happen there, and I think we're kind of in that zone of uncertainty right now. But it doesn't, everything's gonna have an ending, and it's not, things are moving at a rapid clip. You have to have noticed, like, time is moving fast. This government is trying as fast as it can to, like, wreck as much as it can, so that it can't be nothing can be recovered. Like, normal can't get anywhere back near to normal. It's in flux right now. It's a very dynamic situation. But you can go with just being afraid and anxious, or you can like seize the day and take control of things. And I'm not saying you're going to be able to change night to day, but you can make small gestures, small movements, little acts that can end up being a lot bigger and a lot more significant than you might initially think, because you're thinking that it's small. But you gotta give it a chance. Gotta give it a chance to grow. Okay. I have a cold and I'm actually feeling loopy, so can you tell? Thank you and good night.